Where are you guys in the world right now?
Where are you?
Well, there's like a lot of water around me and rain,
Oh.
and I'm looking at mischief or something.
Okay, yep, I'm coming towards you. What's wrong with playing shooters on PS4?
I've gotten used to it, but I like the stick layout for the or the Xbox right stick being higher or the left stick being higher.
Because you grew up on the Halo 1.
I don't know if I really grew up on Halo 1, but last gen, a lot of games were primarily developed for Xbox, and so really buying things on 360 was kind of the way to go as it was, Like if you played like Fallout 3 or even Skyrim, like there was a ton of buggy, even more issues on PS3 than there was on 360. So you kind of just got used to buying all your cross-platform stuff on 360, and you just kind of end up getting used to using 360 primarily, and then so it's just kind of a thing. I will say that the PS4 controller is definitely an improvement over
PS3.
Yeah, the PS3 controller is just abysmal. I don't like it at all. I think it's terrible.
It's got a nice D-pad.
It's got a nice D-pad, but other than that, it just feels like really cheap and
The PS3 controller?
hollow. Yeah, I don't like it.
That's one of my favorite controllers.
Really?
Well, Super Nintendo's one of my favorite, but PS2 and PS3 controller.
I'll admit that I'm probably being biased because, obviously there's...
Being super biased, because those are really great controllers.
No, let me finish and let me say why I'm being biased. Shauna.
Just kidding. Dude.
Like, I know. I'm being dramatic because I'm like that.
Okay.
Like, my favorite controller of all time is Super Nintendo, and it has, it's very light, doesn't have a lot of weight to it. But for some reason with modern controllers, I like heftier controllers. Like, I just like something that has weight to it. Like, a couple people I know have an Xbox One Elite controller. That thing is really heavy, and I love it for some reason. I don't know why.
Feels like a man's controller.
Yeah. I've always kind of had a strong bias towards Xbox, but I've definitely gotten more used to my PS4 controller. I don't prefer it, but I am at the same time I'm kind of disenchanted with my love of Xbox stuff right now on multiple levels too, because they're like, I'm getting to a point where I'm like, why do I even own an Xbox for real? Like if more people I knew would just get on their PS4, I'd probably just quit playing my Xboxes. They just don't have any new stuff. Like, they have Crackdown. I like Apex a lot, dude. I'm really genuinely impressed with that game. First of all right, so let me break this down. I'll just do positives. I have some things I don't like that I actually like better in Blackout and stuff, but so the positives are the amount of players, and it's teams of 3, so it's not overwhelming in terms of the amount of people you're fighting. The matchmaking is super quick, so they get you in and out of a match as quickly as I've seen in a battle royale. So they don't drop you into an area like in Fortnite and Blackout where you're just messing around, dancing and punching people. And
that was my biggest problem with Overwatch. Every time I agreed to play Overwatch with my friends, we'd get to every 4 hours would probably be only about 2 hours of actual gameplay.
Yeah. Like, they get you in and out of matches quick in Apex. It's nice. Like, you can exit out. The end game stuff that doesn't take forever, at least comparatively to like Call of Duty stuff, seems to be pretty long and stuff. And they always got to show the play of the game, and they go over all the stats and stuff. But so yeah, they make that stuff quick, and then each person picks their character. By the time the third one's done, it's like rock and roll, you're dropping in again. And so it makes it a whole lot easier for you to want to go another round. Like, it's actually like, okay, let's go again. And rather than being like, I'm done, because I don't want to, I'm just impatient. I don't want to sit through another, whatever stuff that's the impatience of waiting on how slow it is to get into a match kind of thing. You can mark where, like, recommend where or let people know where you're going to go. You can mark enemies. you can mark gear. Like if you find a better helmet, but you already have a better helmet, you can let your team know, hey, there's a level 2 helmet over here. The communication is so much better. So even when you're playing with a group of strangers, you can actually play as a team so much better because of all that stuff. And you're tapping into that free-to-play market, and so then people are more willing to give that kind of thing a chance because there's no buy-in. It's like, well, I can play this for free.
Right.
You know, and on top of that, for me personally, I don't even see anything in that game I'm going to want to spend money on. Not that there was anything in any of the others either, but
right.
You know, I could easily be satisfied playing that game and never spend a dime. You know, kind of like Overwatch, you know. But again, Overwatch was one of those, you had that initial buy-in and it wasn't free to play. So if I had to guess, I think it was just, you know, like you got Battlefield out there, Call of Duty, Overwatch, Halo. There's so many competitive shooters that I just think it's hard to, you know, get a ton of people to move over to your game in that market. Do you guys like Tim Curry?
Yeah, I like Tim Curry.
Tim Curry is the voice of the bad guy, or like the villain, the main villain in Brutal Legend. It's pretty awesome.
I want to know what Tim Curry movies you've seen.
The first one I remember from my childhood, Muppet Treasure Island.
Cute.
Oh, yep, same here.
I've seen Clue.
I've not seen
Clue.
He's in
That's
Clue.
a good movie.
I have.
I didn't see it until I was an adult, so I saw it within the last couple of years,
Is it
actually.
based off of the board game?
Yeah.
I saw it in
And
high school.
I heard when it was in the theaters, they actually had like multiple endings. Like different people saw different endings and stuff.
Really?
That's cool.
Home Alone 2.
Yep.
He's in Home Alone too?
Yeah,
Dude, he runs
Okay,
the
well,
hotel.
He's got a
That's-
decent-sized role, too.
That's 4
It's like you
movies
don't
then.
even know Tim Curry.
I know
Aaron-
Tim Curry.
What Tim Curry
Yeah.
movie are you thinking of, Aaron?
Well, Muppet Treasure Island, obviously, because of a childhood, Long John Silver. Then the clown from the movie It. I thought he was awesome.
Oh yeah, it.
And
Yep.
then I
Good one.
saw him in the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
I've not seen that movie. I've thought about it.
I would never probably want to watch it again. Like, it was entertaining because I was in college and my friends were like, have you been to a Rocky Horror Picture event? And I was like, no. Oh, you gotta try it at least once in your life. And it was super fun and entertaining, but it's so messed up. Like, everyone dresses up like a drag queen and stuff, and you go there and they give you a roll of toilet paper, a giant like cup of peanuts, and and some newspaper. Yeah, newspaper. And then like there's certain scenes in the film where like there's one part where the people are running through the rain and all they have to cover their heads is newspaper. So all the audience pulls newspaper out from their bag and they put it over their head. And then there's a part where like you take your peanuts and you throw it at the screen. And then there's another part, I don't know, it's super interactive. Like they encourage you, the audience, to interact while you're watching it. And that's really the only way I could have enjoyed the movie, because it's so disturbing.
Yeah.
Like, it's extremely like weird sexualized film. It's just odd. But
Jake, are you playing Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time?
Yeah, can you hear it? I can turn it down.
No, don't turn it down. I just heard it for like 1 second. I heard a sound effect.
Oh,
And
okay.
I immediately knew what it was.
And she's like, I remember.
You remember?
Maybe. I love Blackout, but I just wish I could get good at it, because I just don't understand the mechanics enough.
Oh boy, I'm getting mad.
Yeah.
I feel the same way about StarCraft. I think that is one of the greatest RTSs ever made, and I can't do good at it because everyone else who's played it has been playing it for the last 20 years.
We did
That's
it,
how I feel
Tyler.
about Blackout.
We did it.
Did what?
So I actually know a guy named Adam who works for Treyarch. There was a Christian gaming community called 3 Day Respawn,
Okay.
and I think he kind of helped start that. This was years ago, but I still know him, and I messaged him the other day, and I was like, dude, I'm pretty into Black Ops. And I was like, I want to get into Blackout, but it's really hard. And so he's like, dude, I need to play with you sometime and teach you. You just got to learn like how to play it. And so hopefully we'll get a chance to play sometime. But
Yeah.
yeah,
See this chest
I
here?
see that chest, but there's no interaction with it.
Yeah.
I was hoping you could interact with it, but I can't do anything with it.
No, I can't open it.
Man. Did
Me
you?
and Aaron had an intense game of Hammer before this started.
Yeah, super intense. I keep hearing... The whole time I kept hearing Aaron say, "What? How did he do that?"
It was super intense.
Isn't that not like every time they play?
Yeah, it is, and it's funny.
Hey, Dean.
Yeah.
Do you like zombies?
Yes, I'm interested in zombies in terms of fiction. Yeah.
No, like the game mode.
Oh, not really.
You disappoint.
I think here's the thing. I want to like it, but I think what I find irritating is, I just need to get used to it. Teach me the ropes.
I would love to.
Are you guys
See,
friends? Are you guys
that's
friends
the
yet?
ideals. No, go ahead.
Are you guys friends yet on PlayStation Network?
We are.
Yeah.
Good.
I'm not friends with Aaron. Is Aaron on there?
Well, we don't pay for that business
Hmm.
I thought Aaron played Tekken online like all the time.
on
my
his computer.
He's a PC elitist.
I am a PC elitist.
He is not ashamed to admit that.
Once I got the PC, I couldn't go back. I was like modding, full control over the game. There's only like a handful of games that are actually better on console than on PC.
I just can't afford a PC right now, and
Just don't buy Call of Duty Black Ops.
Yeah.
hey, shit.
You didn't have
It's
the...
a thing. It's a thing where I know enough people that are playing on console that it's hard to like go over to PC.
You know what? The game that you should get on PC is Black Ops 3 because people make custom zombies maps.
But I don't want
No.
to play zombies. I'm more of a Left 4 Dead guy personally.
I like Left 4 Dead. I haven't
You've
played it
never
in a
even
while.
played zombies.
Hey,
I've played zombies
yes he
with
has,
you.
and so have I.
I've played Black Ops Zombies, and I've played World at War Zombies with you.
Yeah, but like,
I actually do like the zombies mode for the newest Black Ops, just because it's really colorful, and I like the gladiators.
yeah, see?
I hate that you kill tigers. I don't like that game.
But there's zombie tiger.
There's tigers in the zombie mode.
Yeah.
That sounds awesome.
You kill
See,
them.
this is why we need
It's
to play.
not awesome.
There's
Chana.
there's
See, the
vampire.
thing is, once something is a zombie, there's no like moral like, oh, I shouldn't kill it.
I realize that, but why'd they choose tigers? Why isn't there like a big... Why
It's
isn't-
like
I bet
that lady's my mom, but she's a zombie now, and so I have to cut her head off.
Yeah,
Just-
but...
That's still a zombie
No,
thing.
they chose tigers as like the target, and it could have been something else that wasn't endangered, like reindeer.
Like someone's mom.
No, reindeer.
No reindeer.
Why would
Yeah, there
we choose reindeer? It's not Christmas time.
Reindeer aren't exclusively Christmas animals.
or even just
Yeah, but
regular
when
deer.
does anyone talk about a reindeer, Chester?
Right now.
That doesn't count.
I think Shauna has the thing against reindeer, but point taken.
No, I don't. I was just choosing creatures that weren't endangered. It was just
How do you know reindeer aren't endangered?
because there's millions of them.
Have you seen a reindeer?
Yeah.
Where?
Every Christmas. On Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, don't you know?
That's
Deer.
made out of clay.
What's made out of clay?
Rudolph.
I don't
So here's
know.
a question. If I've never played Ocarina, I'm trying to decide. I have it on the Wii. It's a long story, but my brother-in-law freaking bought it on there, trying to force me to play it, and I was like, no.
This is a good armor.
But I'm trying to decide if I should play it on there or if I should play the 3DS version.
Of what?
Play the 3DS version.
3DS version of Ocarina.
Play the 3DS version.
What?
Okay.
Your first experience with Ocarina of Time has to always be in 64.
No.
Yeah.
I don't want to use that controller. I'd rather play it on the Wii with my
Oh,
game
get
controller.
over the controller thing.
I'm gonna not get over it, Shauna.
If it's a choice between the Wii and the 3DS, play the 3DS.
Okay.
Because
Well, I
the
don't
Wii
have-
version, the Wii version is the worst version of the original.
The downloaded version is?
Yes.
Really?
Why?
And
That's
the
good to
reason
know.
is because it's got the most amount of censored content.
Censored? What would be censored? That's weird.
All the Muslim iconography.
No.
The blood isn't red anymore.
That's weird.
Okay, guys, I actually do need help this time. I didn't think I was going to need help, but there is a giant red spider down there who will kill you super fast.
I'll come.
And he's at the entrance now, and he chased me all the way to the entrance.
I'll come.
And I can't get into the tunnel anymore.
I'll come.
And
Shauna is your helpmate. Did you make a portal?
Oh, I can make a portal.
Let's start with you getting help from Shauna and whoever else, and we'll go from there. See if you need my help. Because I'm getting my butt kicked over
This
here.
place?
Yes.
Okay.
If you find a portal, I made a portal, and if you walk in there, it's absurd. There's a giant red spider. I think there's actually 2 of them.
Okay.
I can't go in there. They'll kill me instantly because I have no armor.
Oh, in this place?
Yeah, in that
And that's
tunnel.
where your body is?
Yeah.
Oh dear.
I was doing really well, too, and then I came across this boss.
I just killed a fetish shaman.
Fetish shaman?
That's what it said. Apparently he had a fetish for dying.
So the 3DS version runs at 30 FPS as opposed to 20.
Nice.
All the character models are much nicer looking.
I'm into that.
The animations are much smoother. The colors are a lot more vibrant. Aiming is a whole lot easier because of the motion controls.
Nice. That sounds tight.
And the Master Quest is included in the 3DS version.
Oh. That's a big selling point. Does it utilize 3D? Like, does it
Yes.
actually have 3D? Okay, that's cool.
A lot of the newer ones don't because they're trying to push the 2DS instead.
Yeah. Yeah, they discovered that it's really not good for kids under a certain age. It's not good for their eyes, so.
Well, plus it's kind of obnoxious to hold the DS in a certain position.
Yeah. They improved it with the new 3DS. I think the eye tracking is a lot better, but.
I kind of want to play that remake
Sean, are
of
you still
Bowser's
here?
Inside Story.
Yeah, I'm here.
They also remade Superstar Saga.
Superstar. Is that Kirby or is that Mario?
No, it's Mario and Luigi. It's the same series as Bowser.
Oh, okay.
Speaking of Bowser, what do you guys think about Doug Bowser as the new president of Nintendo of America?
Yeah.
I think it's cool that guy's name is Bowser, but I'm definitely going to miss Reggie. He's tight.
What?
Dude, Reggie's tight.
No!
How? Give me
He's just
example.
he's a cool dude.
When?
I don't know anything
When?
about him.
See?
The first time I ever saw Reggie, I was in Israel, and I was with
There's
my
your
parents. I was in Israel, and I had my MacBook out, and I was watching the Nintendo. Or
There's another problem.
and I was watching the Nintendo conference at E3,
Yeah.
and Reggie stood up on stage, and he gave this giant presentation about this new game that's coming out from the Nintendo Wii that is going to revolutionize gaming as we know it. And it was Just Dance.
Uh-huh.
Well, that's
And I
not
was
Reggie's
like-
fault.
Yeah, it is.
He's just the messenger, man.
That's
Reggie's the mouthpiece, dude. He
that's
stays on message.
exactly. He has no morals. He does what he's told.
And
Oh, that's a harsh accusation, sir.
If he was truly a gamer, he would not deceive children by saying "Just Dance" is going to revolutionize.
He's not a gamer. He's a
Exactly.
That's
He's
why-
not a gamer.
that's why.
Exactly.
Hey, you quit judging that dude. Giant hands. It's hard for him to play games. He's a giant. His parents wouldn't let him be a pro wrestler, so he's decided to be a businessman. Okay.
That's exactly what he is. He's a great businessman, and just like all good businessmen, they lie in order to make money.
I don't know if I know for sure that Reggie's lying, but I can understand you not trusting businessman. I mean, I'm businessman. You know, I don't necessarily like Bobby Kotick and stuff, but
Okay, in my opinion, games should be made by gamers, and you can always tell when a game was made by a gamer versus when it was made by a giant company.
Well, like
Yeah,
that guy that's running an Xbox right now, he's a gamer. He really is. What's his name?
Phil Spencer.
Spencer. Dude, they've improved Xbox a lot since Spencer took over.
When did he take over?
He took over after that disaster when the Xbox One launched and Don Matrick like just made a fool of himself. And they've turned
TV ports.
Unfortunately, they haven't put out a lot of games, but they have bought a lot of studios and they're trying to get a lot of games made.
The giant blue man.
I think the second half of the Xbox One's lifespan has been way better than the first half.
Yeah, he's the one that. So when Spencer took over, they added in the 360 backwards compatibility emulation, and it works really well. And now he added in the Xbox original stuff. Essentially, if I could boil it down for you, the best way I can explain Spencer's leadership is he took them away from, like, after it launched, like, they did all that crap that's like, this thing's going to be always online. You won't be able to play games unless it's connected to the internet.
Right.
And people were like, that's not going to work. So it was a disaster, and obviously PS4 has sold way better than Xbox. But when he came in, they really shifted things away from that. Like, the whole point of the literally the name of the Xbox One, the whole intent of the machine was it was supposed to be this multimedia machine, and they like my original Xbox One, it has two HDMI inputs things, or one's an input and one output, and it's like the Xbox One was supposed to be like your cable box and all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so they've really moved away from focusing on all the extra media things that you can do with Xbox. And ever since Spencer took over, like every time they have an E3 or whatever, it's like it's always focused on games.
Mm-hmm.
He's done a really good job with that.
Well, good for him.
Microsoft is moving very much towards collaborating with their competitors, and they're like,
Well, they
you're
have
going
to.
to be able
They're
to.
in trouble.
Well, yeah,
there's
but-
gonna be potentially there's gonna be Xbox games on the Switch.
yeah, you might be able to play Game Pass on Switch.
Really?
Yeah, they're bringing Xbox Live to Switch. That's like a confirmed thing.
They're bringing Xbox Live to the Switch.
Yep. We'll see if it works for them. I don't know. Maybe it won't.
Well, if they think they're being inventive by being a service company, Blizzard has way beat them to it back in 2005 with World of Warcraft, and that game has just, in my opinion, is like the bane of.
See, I think they're trying to be a services company in a different way. I think, like, they were kind of the ones that, in terms of the consoles, they were the ones that kind of like led the charge with the online services. So Xbox Live, it's been pretty successful. Sony started fixing theirs after they got hacked that one time.
Mm-hmm.
And it was
well.
a
So
big
Xbox
mess.
Xbox got hacked too.
No, I know, but I'm saying
Yes, they did.
Sony didn't really start fixing their.
Dean, you just got killed.
Dean.
I know, because
You got killed by
I
a fetish.
can't do two things at the same time. It's, to finish what I'm saying, I've been impressed with a lot of the moves that Microsoft has made, and I think they've improved their Xbox One in a lot of ways in terms of a lot of the periphery stuff. Unfortunately, the problem is that, again, like I told you when you were asking me a question about it one time, it's like, I'm like, I wouldn't even recommend an Xbox to somebody, because I look at my shelf and I see all these amazing games I can get on PS4.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, why would I get an Xbox? At the end of the day, Nintendo and Sony are crushing it with like exclusive titles that you can only get on their system. And Microsoft, as much as I think they've made a lot of improvements, it's like, guys, what are you doing? Like, you just don't have a lot of exclusives, and it.
Does this mean that their new game they're working on, Outer Worlds, is that going to be an Xbox exclusive? Because that would suck. Because Microsoft bought Obsidian, and
They bought a lot of companies.
They bought Obsidian and they bought Troika, or not Troika, because that used to be Obsidian. In Exile is what they're called. In Exile Entertainment.
Okay.
They made Wasteland 2. Actually, Brian Fargo made the original Wasteland, but back with Blackout Studios.
I want to get back to Fallout 4 sometime. I liked that game. I just don't have time for it.
If I were to play it again, I'd play it on PC. I don't like
4.
how it performs on console.
I don't blame you. Yeah, I try not to think about those kinds of things very often. I can usually kind of like turn my brain off and not pay attention to low frame rate and stuff, but it does get unavoidably bad sometimes.
Well, for Fallout 4, it gets really bad just because the console can't handle the amount of things that you can do with one character. So if you get far enough, the average frame rate is like 15 to 20.
Let's be fair to the PS4. The PS4 actually is an amazing console. Bethesda is still using Embryo as their engine, and Bethesda isn't really a very good company when it comes to
like optimization
to begin with. So
yeah,
their games are buggy. The only reason Bethesda, it's just Bethesda isn't a great company to begin with. Their work is very sloppy. And they're still building their games off of the Embryo game engine. They need to stop.
I think I was nervous when they bought id, but then id's games still seem to be pretty good.
Well, I think what happened in that situation is that they're like, okay, we're gonna buy id, we're gonna we're gonna produce your games, but we're gonna let you run.
Yeah,
ourselves.
that's pretty.
You know what I mean?
It almost is like what Activision did with Blizzard.
Right. Did Activision buy Blizzard, or did Blizzard buy Activision, or are they just merged?
Activision bought Blizzard.
Really?
Yeah, Activision bought Blizzard. Yeah.
What?
Blizzard is way too small compared to Activision for that to happen.
But
I
they
did
made more
not
money
know that.
through World of Warcraft than anyone has ever made off of any game ever.
Right, but Activision has so many games and companies under their belt that they make more money than just about any other company right now.
Call of Duty is a behemoth, and Tony Hawk was a behemoth at one time.
Oh, this is so much easier with having another player.
Oh, is Dean with you?
Yeah, Dean's helping us slay through these spiders.
Good. You guys
We're owning, and I'm using my corpse explosion like a mofo.
Nice.
Not really sure why I went with mofo. I haven't said that in years, but I still said it.
Well, at least you edited it.
Hey, this is a PG podcast.
Think of the children, guys. Think of the children.
All the children that are gonna watch us.
All the children that are like, why does Aaron hate Reggie so much? He's amazing.
Aaron and Shauna both.
I never said I hated him.
I don't hate Reggie. I hate everything he stands for.
Literally, the only reason why I dislike Reggie is because
Nintendo is freaking ridiculous about things.
he is the president of Nintendo.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
Like, if he was just like some businessman, that'd be different. But he is the president.
He used to work for Pizza Hut.
I can tell.
Yeah, you can tell. He acts like an executive of a fast food company.
He does.
Fair enough.
He acts like an executive of a fast food company. Someone who doesn't care about his employees, but somehow managed to get to Nintendo.
I will say Nintendo drives me absolutely crazy sometimes, and they're such a ridiculously stubborn company.
It's Nintendo's fault is why Emuparadise is no longer on the internet.
By the way, the Emuparadise thing makes me very angry at Nintendo, but today I was looking at my YouTube videos and copyrighted videos. They removed the copyright from the Nintendo videos that had copyright on them.
Honestly, after they did that, I have nothing to criticize anymore.
Nothing?
I still have things to criticize, but I'm complimenting them on that situation.
Do you know that Nintendo tried to kill Melee at EVO, and because people stood up to Nintendo, that's why EVO had Melee?
Yeah, well, that was like 15 years ago.
No. That was 2014.
That was like 5 years ago.
Nintendo has always been just a bunch of jerks. They're so mean. They're evil people.
Don't agree at all.
Okay, here's what it is. You've got really great creative people like Miyamoto, who have invented Mario, who have basically made the world a better place. And then you have all these executives who only care about money. They see a talented man like Miyamoto, like, hey, here's a chance to make a profit. So what do? They lure him in. They make him a star. They use his ideas to make money off of it, and then they use all that money to hire lawyers, so those lawyers can go out and start looking for ways to make more money. They are the epitome of evil. They are a corporation.
That's every big business.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't think you should criticize them over that because it's every business that does that.
That's not every business, but
Good portion.
And he's not defending other businesses.
I'm just simply saying Nintendo is not this beautiful, wonderful company that just.
Well, honestly, a big reason.
You know a gaming
because
company that
of-
has good practices. Good Old Games. Good Old Games is a company that has very good business practices, and it treats their customers and the developers with respect. Same thing goes with
Died
Valve.
again.
And same thing goes with Epic Games. Now, Valve has big problems with customer service. I do not like Valve's customer service, but I think that they're not as evil as Nintendo.
Did you see this
I
graphic?
don't like Valve anymore because they don't make games.
It's true, they don't.
Still waiting on Half-Life 3.
It'll never happen.
Did you see this graphic dead man on the
Oh my
table?
goodness! Dean!
Yeah, I saw him.
Dude, I'm dead. I died twice. Right after I got my corpse, I died again. Oh,
I just don't think criticizing Nintendo over protecting their IPs is fair.
They don't just protect their IPs, they hunt you down. They hunt you
That's
down.
within their
and
right.
They slay you. They're all about the money.
Slayer.
Do I need to
They
come over
are
there?
more brutal with their IP than any other company.
okay.
They don't
come on.
have to be that mean.
Died again.
Do I need to come over
Well,
there?
it would be
I
a
should-
different thing if what they were doing was like illegal.
But they can be nice. They can be nice. You don't hear Namco, you don't hear Konami attacking people and like making it that they can't play games at public events because they're not making any money off of it.
You don't think Sony does similar stuff?
Okay, give me an example then. I'm sure they
The
have, but
fact
it's not
that
as.
they don't have that they refuse to allow the other consoles to play cross-play games with them.
Well, they did change that now, but I'm not defending Sony. I hate Sony too, but they did actually change that because of the outcry.
Yeah.
It would have taken Nintendo probably 15 years before they ever changed it, and the whole world would have to have threatened them at gunpoint.
But they did it before Sony did.
I think it's because they're smart. They're smart.
Exactly.
They're evil, but they're smart. Sony is dumb and evil. Yeah.
I don't understand calling companies that you like evil.
I don't like Nintendo.
Then why do you play their games?
I don't play Nintendo games.
I do.
No.
Dean, do you want me to come over there?
Yeah, I can't. There's so many spiders in there. I can't.
Okay. Hang on.
I cannot.
Where's Aaron?
My face itches so much.
Because all this Nintendo talk?
No, it's just sometimes you get agitated and then everything bothers you too. You're just like, and my face itches.
I get that. Totally. Okay. I'm gonna come be there with you guys. Ooh, here's a sweet paladin
Okay.
shield.
I have one thought to interject.
Yes, please.
Just one thought only. And I don't think Aaron's implying this, but I'm still going to say it. I don't think that, to be clear in this conversation, it's not that enterprise is evil or that capitalism is inherently evil. Like, making a business and trying to be profitable is not evil. Unfortunately, and I'm not picking on Jake, but he brought up something that made me think of something. So unfortunately, companies often do test the limits as much as possible, and they'll say, well, what we're doing isn't illegal. And it's like, well, I mean, do we have to make a regulation for every little thing? I wish that companies would self-regulate more, because I also don't like having a heavy dependence on the government. You know, it's like I hate when we run to the government to solve all of our problems. It's like, you got to stop businesses from doing this stuff. It's like, I wish they would not wait until they're forced to do things and they would just do it on their own. If the video game companies would have been smart and they would have just got out ahead of it and done... Why is someone ringing on my doorbell? Hold on.
Okay.
I'll be back.
Grab a knife.
Unfortunately, this guy was delivering Chinese food, and I had to deliver the news that he's got the wrong house.
Poor guy.
Aww. Was he Chinese?
He was Asian. I don't know if he was specifically Chinese, but one morning, this guy pulls up to my house and starts unloading gear in my yard, and
That's so funny.
I go outside and I'm just like, hey, what's going on? And he's like, and so long story short, they were going to start roofing the house. And it was a moral dilemma for me, because I was like, man, I could have just went along with it and I could have got new shingles on my house and been like, oh, sorry, wrong place. But I decided to do the right thing. And
I'm glad you did, because that would have been a mess in court.
Anyways, nothing that I was saying earlier really specifically pertains to Nintendo necessarily, but I'm just saying companies, I wish that they would be more self-regulated, because when they just kind of do whatever and they're just like whatever, and then they wait until they're forced to do something, then we end up with just regulations that are just annoying, you know, like it's like the FCC is so annoying, and it's like, you know, video games should have just been, they should have tried to self-regulate themselves. Then they could have had their own rating system, and they wouldn't have had to rely on the ESRB and all this kind of stuff.
Well, see, the thing is, like, in the birth of video games, it was just a bunch of geeks who, like, loved computers, loved electronics, loved coding, and a lot of stuff, like, was just really smart people who were bored. Like, the very first-person deathmatch game, first-person shooter, was actually called Maze Wars, and it was invented by a bunch of bored NASA computer programmers who...
Nice.
You know, and the thing is that when something gets popular, there's people with talent, and there's people with no talent, but they are super greedy, but can recognize talent. And so we've got people like perfect example, we were just talking about it. Bunch of teenage boys from Texas in their garage messing around with computer programming. Look what they created, Wolfenstein. From there, what did they create? Doom. From there, they were able to make an engine, and they created the Quake engine, which the Quake engine was used for the Half-Life games. So these teenage boys just messing around, being geeks who love games, ended up changing the world. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's just, that's the kind of people who you're like, I really look up to, and are like, man, these are great people. These are talented people. These are people who just do what they love, and as a result, they're making the world a better place. And then you've got, that's how I picture Miyamoto. That's how I picture, Hideo Kojima. Although I don't know that much about Hideo Kojima. I don't know where. Yeah. But anyway.
Well, you could argue that most situations, at least a lot of situations, there's, things start off with humble beginnings.
Right.
And then things just kind of get more complicated. But then that's not always true, because then you have like Ubisoft currently, who, they've got multiple gigantic teams of people making Assassin's Creed. That's not necessarily, humble roots, but I'm sure that company probably has some kind of origin story of, humble beginnings.
Where they started, right?
Yeah.
Wasn't Ubisoft's first game the original Prince of Persia? I don't know.
It might have been. I don't honestly know what their first game was. I don't know a ton about them. Yeah, so, I mean, here's the thing. Like, I do kind of, in terms of the whole, like, emulation thing, like, I get where Jake's coming from. It's like they have to protect our IP, and so I actually kind of side with him on that. But then it's a tough situation, because they need to, like, you have to show that you're serious, and you have to kind of like, it's kind of like law enforcement. It's like, if you don't ever pull anyone over and give them a ticket for speeding, then what's the point of the signs, So I kind of get the enforcement of it. But then at the same time, I do understand where Aaron's coming from, that like you could try to do things in a way that is a little more like personal, and unfortunately they a lot of businesses kind of like do things in a very just business manner. Like it's very like, we're getting our lawyers involved, we're threatening you, you know, all this, we're suing you, you know, rather than just, hey, fair warning, like please don't tempt us to get our lawyers involved, like, you know, we don't want to crush you, like just take this thing down, you know. But so I think sometimes there's kind of a testing of things on both ends, really. You know, there's always kind of some level of fault on both ends of things sometimes. It's a tough situation because I get a company enforcing their, you know, protecting their IP, but then at the same time, it's like there's so many games out there that we have no access to, that those people aren't making any money off of anymore these days. And it's like, then make an option for us to play it, or like quit complaining about it. It's irritating. It's just like, it's like sitting on something just for the sake of it and being like, I'm not going to share my toys. You know, well, it's just irritating.
You know what that creates though? You know how many clones of good games there are on mobile phones just because they can? It's not enforced at all because they don't do what Nintendo does and protects their IPs.
What do you mean by clones? Because it's like the gaming industry, as far as originality, is pretty much nothing but clones. Like,
no, I'm talking about like they're literal.
I kind of get what you're saying. Like, kind of like that Flappy Bird was a huge hit, and then next thing you know, there was like tons of Flappy Bird clones.
Right. That's a good example.
How does that apply? I guess I can't follow, because how does that apply with intellectual property if people are doing something different, but at the same time it's like the same like inspiration?
It's not different. It's literally the same game with like a different coat of paint.
For example, there was a game that was made, I think, by a company in China. They literally made a game that, like, the characters looked like Overwatch characters. They essentially just had different names, but they looked almost exactly the same.
Okay.
It was the same game.
Well, technically, that's legal, right? Because, I mean,
Well, it's legal in China, I guess. But then it becomes kind of muddy, like, selling it here and stuff. You know, the intellectual property laws aren't the same in Japan. So then you had, like, you know, they made a character, M. Bison. It was supposed to be like Mike Tyson. And then when they brought it over here, they changed Bison to because they get away with things in Japan that they don't get away with in America. Like Disney is definitely changing, you know, because they're such a, you know, multi-billion whatever company. They're getting away with things that have never been a thing before. Like, it was supposed to be, you know, that after so many years things became public domain. Well, they've protected Mickey Mouse and all kinds of stuff that's well past that date, and they continue to own that stuff and get around those laws. And, you know, that's kind of unfair, because then, you know, they get to continue to be this giant company, and they don't even necessarily have to innovate and make anything new. Mm-hmm. They can just keep making money off Mickey Mouse, you know. Right. But at a certain point, it's like, why can't other people make money off Mickey Mouse? I mean, people are making money off Sherlock Holmes. Mm-hmm. You know, Walt Disney is long dead, but his company remains, and so his company continues to make all this money off of his ideas, and that's where the frustrating, you know, evil, if you will, comes in. Anyways, we should talk about something a little more entertaining.
When's our first zombie session, Dean?
That's a good question. I'm not sure. I have to think. You'll most likely see me on Call of Duty sometime this week at night, and I'm sure we'll get a session in.
I see you on there all the time.
Hey.
Then you should
Like,
join.
literally, just about every time I get on,
Yep.
like, Blackout 4.
I've really been playing probably more than I should lately. I've been so addicted.
I have, I think, 3 guns gold right now, but I've been using a lot of the DLC weapons lately.
Oh, nice. I haven't bought the DLC yet.
Well, that's the thing. You don't have to buy it. You can just earn it in game.
Oh, gotcha.
That's really cool.
That I did not know.
I just wanted to say I really like Nintendo games.
Oh, I definitely like
Same.
Nintendo games. Aaron doesn't, but I do.
Aaron does like Nintendo games, but you know.
He's just
No.
afraid to admit it.
No, there are Nintendo games that he likes, but he actually really doesn't play Nintendo games. It's kind of, after he said that, I was like, you know what? You don't, do you?
That's too bad.
It is.
I guess we all make choices in life.
Yeah, we do. There's a lot of money in here. Hacking.
I choose to play fun
I
games.
like money in here.
This looks like Nintendo Land. Look at all this money.
I play Smash and Splatoon and Zelda. I think Reggie likes fun too.
He takes baths in his money. Bathes in his quarters.
In his.
He's what is he like?
Money.
Is he like Scrooge McDuck?
No, Cartman. You remember?
Oh,
but
yeah.
But that's the same thing too with Chris Scrooge. He'll jump in his money too. But remember when Cartman won like $20 for a bet with Kyle? Well, in his way of rubbing it in that he won, he took the $20 bill and reduced it to quarters and then put it in a little kiddie pool and then took a bath in the quarters and it was like, Kyle's money.
He is one of the most ridiculous characters in anything ever.
He's so
funny.
He's so bad, but that's why he's so funny. He's my
I know. One of my favorite ones I've seen more recently is I watched the whole like Game of Thrones season. That was so funny when he kept like walking through with people through that garden, and then that guy that owned the place was like,
oh yeah,
he's gonna betray you. I still think that my two favorite episodes is the World of Warcraft thing.
yes.
I really like the Man Bear Pig episode with Al Gore.
It's
That
a
was
good
so
one. So
It was
funny.
so funny.
God.
And then freaking Kanye talking about being a gay fish or something was so weird. It was just so weird.
Yeah.
In later, he's now a recovering gay fish.
Oh really?
Oh yeah.
I haven't seen the latest seasons, so don't spoil too much.
All right, I need to take off.
You gotta go, Dean.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this was a great time. It was a great conversation, and I'll have a good time cutting out silent parts and stuff.
Cutting out our PG-13 talks.
No, we didn't have any PG-13 talks tonight.
Oh, that's good. I'm glad I cleaned it up.
I think I did say butthole twice.
That's not PG-13. That's as PG as it gets, Aaron. Don't worry.
Aaron just has to drop in the.
Yeah, but
I'm gonna say something.
that's why it's funny, Jake. I like to make fun of the fact that I like to say that our channel's PG. It's hard
I
to find a
agree.
channel that's not, and so it's just kind of funny to make fun of it.
It is a rare thing. That's why I think that's one of the reasons I've stuck with listening to Game Informer's podcast. They keep things clean, and then even if somebody cusses, like, they'll bleep it out. It's kind of nice. Like, it's nice to have something that I can feel safe listening to, like, while the girls are around. And you girls want to say hi?
Hi.
Say have a good night.
Have a good night.
Okay, have a good night.
You have a good night too.
Thanks tonight. They're like those creepy twins in Shining.
That's so funny.
It's hilarious.
I've never heard a dad refer to his own daughters as the creepy twins from The Shining.
All right. I'm good now. See you guys.
Okay, bye.
Yeah.
Ian.